final third.
I think Pepe's so coachable.
Well, you should be in
just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season. You're out here just racing up. You should be in prison. You facing charges.
We live.
Yeah, we in the building.
We live.
We in the building. Carabao Cup weekend. No, this first time everybody tunes in.
Yeah, everybody tuned in. Everybody tuned in to the Calamari Cup.
You're gonna get a pattern on that. They're gonna sue you, you know. They're gonna hear this and they're gonna sue you, you know.
Shout out the Calamari, the big K, the big KK.
The big KK.
The big KK Cup. Nah, it's deep still. I feel like let's start. There's nowhere else to start off with. Let's intro quickly. I'm hosting today. I'm your boy Lua Shemilari Kante's cousin. You already know Shems for lavish. Either way, and we've got my faithful host. Are you faithful? Are you faithful? I'll be seeing you on all these other platforms. It's Banks Notes. It's Banks Notes. Give us a 20. Give us a score. Give us a pinky. Banks, how much you got for us today?
Nah, I got a cool. Let's see what's in this pocket right now. Cool.
Yeah, you look like you've been getting the bus as well. Yeah, you got pennies on you. But it's Banks Notes. Throw that in the bin. Throw that in the bin. We got Banks Notes here.
Grab yours 50p. Grab yours 50p.
Gary Neville's only fan growing up. Yeah, we got Banks Notes, man. Banks. Oh, there's only one place to start, man. There's only one place to start. And it's the Calamari Cup final. We had Chelsea versus Liverpool. I just deeped it on the way home. Yeah.
Killing me already. I'm just gonna throw this one up there as well. The reason why we're laughing, I can Mr. Austin say Banks MLS started today. Hope Ronaldo's watching. Hey, that guy needs to go play with the Dons. He needs to go play with the Dons. That's what he needs to play.
He can't play with Drew Blue in there, man. He can't play with SC Dons. What was I gonna So I was gonna say the final was so tight that even the penalties got up to like 11-12. But
I feel like that's been a theme with penalties recently, you know, like everyone's just packing them. Like everyone, like I'm seeing too many penalty shootouts go to like the 9th, the 10th, the 11th person. The
first things first. Before we get there, Banks, before we get there, the game. Game.
I have to say this. Before you can slander Kepa, you better slander Pulisic and Mount especially. They have way more blood on their hands than Kepa does. Way more blood on their hands.
Who do you think the rightful team won?
No, I don't. Chelsea created a lot more clear-cut chance that they should have bagged, and they had a few marginal offside goals ruled out. I'd say I'd have to give it to Chelsea on the balance of it, but where you can't blame Liverpool because Chelsea didn't finish their dinners. That Mount one first half, clean connection and you've got a goal. Second half, you're through on goal and you jam it against the post. Come on. Like your coach can coach something, but you can't legislate for your players not putting in the onion bag. Like what do you want Tuchel to like? Tuchel's coached to win there. He's coached to win.
Okay.
There's nothing more
I'm going to direct these questions to you. First things first. Do you think Tuchel should go into games like this with this lineup? Is this Chelsea's best lineup?
Yeah.
The way in which he started.
Yeah. I mean, the two that sort of like right now, Havertz is the cog. Ziyech was in good form before his injury, so I assume he'll come back onto the right hand side. But Chelsea with this fluid front three, it looks much better and it's creating a lot more opportunities. In the first half, I'd say first 15, 20 minutes, I'd say they were all over. They was all over Liverpool. They were the better team. Created chances and they should have put them away. That's coming from Havertz, who was probably the best player on the pitch. I'm surprised. I think Van Dijk got man of the match. I don't know how that happened, but Havertz was clearly the best player on the pitch. He was orchestrating everything. Even if he wasn't the one getting on the end of chances, all of their best work came out of him. and it's just looking a lot more fluid, a lot more touch and go and creating chances in the box, like clear-cut chances that like. I'm not putting it all on Lukaku, but when he was the focal point, when they were trying to feed him, the chances weren't coming about this easily. But Havertz in this false nine role is looking a lot more free flows.
Do you think Havertz has missed a big game though?
Where he always shows up for Chelsea. He always shows up for Chelsea in the finals. We can't take that away from him. He always shows up for Chelsea in the finals in one way or another. And today was no difference. I'm not going to call him Mr. Big Game, but yeah, he definitely showed up for Chelsea in the final. And today, no different. I think start of the season when he was seen as more of a complementary piece to Lukaku rather than the main guy. It was more difficult for him because he was trying to figure himself out around Lukaku, but in this system here, where he's the focal point, where he's the false nine, and it's kind of all bouncing off of him, he looks a lot better, and he looks like he's the one that's supposed to be leading the line. That's not to say Lukaku didn't come on and do pretty well. I think he came on, put himself about a little bit when the game was opening up a little bit more. It suited him a lot more. And again, finished, but marginally offside. He probably should have been onside for that one. But again, you need the guy that when it's at the start of the game, when it's not open, who's going to be the one to help me create chances? It's all well and good when the game's a bit more end-to-end and it's free-flowing and you've got the spaces to run into. But start of the game, it wasn't really like that. And you need somebody to be in there to kind of to control it and help create chances. And that's what Havertz was doing.
Okay, I'm going to go on a Liverpool aspect of things. I do agree with you. I can't say I could pick a clear-cut winner, but you'd favour Chelsea. Like, you wouldn't say Liverpool over Chelsea, but you'd easily say Chelsea could have or should have won just because of the clear-cut chances. But at the start, before the changes of Milner and before the subs, I thought Liverpool were, even though the odd chance was coming to Chelsea, the odd clear-cut chance, I thought Liverpool were comfortable.
Yeah, there was definitely a pattern in both halves where Chelsea started off both halves stronger, but then there was just wave after wave of Liverpool pressure.
Liverpool's pressure was consistent prior to the Milner substitution and Harvey Elliott coming on and things of that sort. And then towards the end, I think Matip came off for Konate. But before the substitution, Liverpool were quite dominant. Keita was in and around, was getting in the mix as well.
Keita should have been red carded. That was a joke.
I didn't want to get onto that, but besides that, Keita was in and around. He was influencing everything.
That was a joke. Referees, do your job. Do your job. It's enough now. It's enough. Do your job. After yesterday with City and today with Keita, come on, man. Do your job.
I don't know how many. The left-hand side was getting, Chelsea's right-hand side was getting penetrated. Chalobah was getting exposed by Luis Diaz, and Luis Diaz kept taking
a long day.
Diaz kept taking it to him, and he's the poor guy because Diaz is good, but I think Diaz would rip one time too many. Like, he would skin him, and then he'll go back, and then Chalobah could could get a recovery tackle. But Mane was doing some wild stuff. Like, Mane was just doing some wild stuff, and then the chance he missed.
As good a double save as that is, you got like them ones. You think, rah, that is a really, really good double save. You don't even want to have to fault the player because it's an amazing double save. You gotta finish it.
Yeah.
Don't even give the keeper a chance. That's what Pulisic did in the first half as well with his shot. It was so tame, and it's just like, don't give him a chance. Like, you've given the keeper a chance there by moving so soft. Like,
there was so many clear that, and just the quality of that final was actually very, very good as a neutral. I mean, imagine that being your team, even if it's still the Calamari Cup, you'd be very, very tense because the chances were high XG, high clear-cut chances. Even Lukaku's chance where like Kelleher saved it in like the last minute of the game where he like flipped it around. It was a real chance. So the caliber of the final was fantastic. It was very, very end to end, but it didn't seem chaotic. I must say though, Liverpool did not play their best today. As much as I said, like they in the latter phases of each half, they dominated play. They weren't comfortable in defending. Like they were always out of position. Trent was getting exposed too often defensively. Van Dijk was getting pulled out of position. Sometimes I didn't know where Van Dijk played, so it even shocked me that he got man of the match. Salah, thanks Nathan for bringing that up. Thank you. Salah, ghost again, but you don't really, it's not every game he's going to be loud, but Salah was a ghost there. Luis Diaz was really carrying that front three. Henderson just barking at people. Fabinho, fantastic. But
Mickey Mount. I was really reading this as Mickey Mouse. Like, where's he going with this? But I said Mickey Mount is a rated Barkley. I can't lie. Mount pooed the bed today. He's just pooed it. Nasty.
Mason. It was obvious who was coming off though. It's Pulisic and Mount. Havertz could not leave that pitch. But the thing, and then you got to see the thing with Werner is that when Werner gets into the game, he's always going to get on the ball and run with it. It's just what he does in the latter phases of play, and it's actually always the same thing. You know, there was a phase last season where we're saying, "Baby, he'll find his feet," but Werner's shown us who he is. Like he can carry. You can dribble a little bit, but when it comes to the last,
they even call that dribbling, kick and run.
Kick and run. Well, it's rapid, so and it's close cut. It's just rapid, so it just looks like it's a bit requires more tech than punt and run. But
Nathan said, "Was hearing he was better than ESR." To quote Ray Keane, "Do me a favor, do me a favor."
Harvey Elliott, young boy, ghost, but I guess coming back off a serious injury. Not gonna get onto you.
Yeah, for me, the Liverpool performance, when they had the pressure, it was intense, and I was thinking, like literally, even when Matip scored his goal that got disallowed, I was thinking, I was literally around then, I was thinking, they must score. Because the pressure, when Liverpool packed on the pressure, it was intense. Chelsea just wasn't getting out, so I was thinking they must score during this period. But again, as you say, aside from those periods, it was kind of back. I want to say backs against the wall, but there was gaping holes. Those holes where Chelsea were able to play. That's why it was such a good final, because in periods it was Chelsea that were on top. Then it was periods.
I wouldn't give Van Dijk man of the match though. I'd give it to maybe Kovacic.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing with man of the match is they always go to the winning team, regardless of how somebody on the losing team might have played. That's what doesn't really make sense about man of the match awards, because it would have easily went to Kai Havertz for me for man of the match easily. But they don't give it to the losing team, which is kind of a flawed system. Yes, you can be the best player on the pitch and end up on the losing team. Kepa,
let's go to the penalties then.
We have to talk penalties.
Let's go penalties. 11-12, correct me if I'm wrong. No, 10-11.
10-11.
Yeah. First and foremost, a lot of very good penalties from, I say Liverpool had the better set of penalties. In terms of the quality, Liverpool had top quality penalties. Van Dijk's top penalty, smacked it. Trent, top penalty.
No, that Van Dijk penalty was so embarrassing. Kepa, he packed it to your side. Did you see where Kepa was standing there?
Now, that's what I was going to say. Now, I was going to say, some of the penalties, the keeper's got saved.
Kepa, you wasn't even standing in the middle. You were standing at the side that he packed it in.
Van Dijk hit that with so much pace, though.
You just gotta get your body in front. I can't lie. If you've already committed to being that far across to the goal, if you've already committed to that, you've got to save that. I can't lie, because you've already closed off the angle.
I don't know. I just gave it more so to Van Dijk putting the shot, because there was no backlift, no run up. Van Dijk took 3 steps and packed it top right.
But you decided he's gonna go, so you knew he must have done his homework and knew Kepa was Van Dijk was going that side anyway. All you've got to do is make yourself big, because you've committed. If he puts it to the other side, you're not saving it regardless. So you've just got to make yourself big on this side. Nothing gets through.
Van Dijk, that's slapped it. Even for Nathan said Fabinho's was a penalty, and it was slow. Fabinho's was slow. You almost feel like the keeper can get up and go back and save it. Fabinho's was slow. Like I was thinking, bruh, the confidence on this lad. Then you got another. Kepa should have saved 2 penalties. One, he got, I think, Konate's. He got a hand to.
Yes, Konate's one. And he put his hand up like this, and he just went through him. Chocolate wrist.
Weak wrist.
Chocolate wrist. He spent a year, he spent the last year just going under the radar trying to beat the chocolate wrist allegations. As soon as he gets put in the spotlight.
Chocolate wrist. And then we've got Kelleher. He should have saved 2 penalties as well. One went under his armpit or like under his hand. I'm looking at these keepers and I'm thinking.
I think it was Werner. That
Werner's penalty. Thank you. It was Werner's because I was thinking Werner's 100% missing. Kelleher has to save that. Kelleher has to save that penalty. And
what's your take on managers subbing in keepers in the last minute? What do you make of that?
If they're a penalty specialist, which I guess Kepa is, because you train with each other, so you know who's peak at saving penalties. If Kepa is significantly better than Mendy, or one keeper is significantly better than the other at saving penalties, then bring him in. But is Kepa significantly better than Mendy, or did he just save?
He's performed in the last couple. He's performed in the last couple penalty shootouts.
Was it a couple or was it one?
It was
the Carabao.
It was against Villarreal. It was against Villarreal in the Super Cup.
Oh, okay.
Was there another one? I feel like there was another one. I don't know. I don't think his CV isn't that stacked. His CV isn't that stacked.
It's not stacked. I don't think the CV is that stacked. And then what I'm saying is, I don't know how much of a better. Maybe he's got better reactions. They know each other. They're the specialists. But it just looks bad. It didn't work out at all because he didn't save one, and then he's the one who missed, and he's supposed to come in to be the penalty specialist. And I guess we'll never know, but Mendy saves at least one of them. 100%. 100%.
Having the Gea vibes. It's
Mendy saves one of them. It's Spanish gene.
Spanish, man. Nah, you gotta save. If you don't save one, you can't miss it as well. Man took a goal kick.
He punted the ball.
I don't know.
It looked so deliberate.
Like, I wonder if was he trying to go bins? Was he trying to go top bins?
You can't be. You know why he wasn't going bins? There was no tech. He hit the ball from underneath like a goal kick, like proper swung.
And it went right down. It went right down the middle.
Right down the middle, like he was looking for Lukaku.
I don't get though. I literally don't get that penalty. I don't get it. Because if it's going right down the middle, at least you can lace it. We don't need to put that much power in it.
Lace. He cut underneath the ball.
Like if it's going right down, if you want to go right down the middle, just lace it. Just lace it. Put it down the middle.
Why do you know?
I said man did what year 11s do to year 7s in school and boot their ball on the roof.
Booted the ball onto, like he booted it up and the penalty shot just ended. Like everyone was like, oh, okay. And then he just stood there. So it's just like, is it deliberate? But whatever.
Shambles team. But Liverpool won the 2022 Calamari Cup. Again, let's not make this. It's not a legacy trophy. It's a nice day out at Wembley. You win a cup, but
weather wasn't too shabby as well.
Literally decent day. It's a nice day out for the fans. They got here by accident. End of the day, they got here by accident. It wasn't even expected. They got here by accident. They wasn't even expecting to get here. So the fact that they've won it now just pisses me off even more because you didn't even want it.
You wanted Chelsea to win?
I don't know. You didn't want it. You didn't even want it in the first place. You know when you're a kid, you see somebody else with a toy, a long throw. You didn't even want the toy at first. Now you didn't want it. You didn't want it. Hate that club, man. Hate it. Or we're moving on to. Oh my god.
Go Marco.
Go Marco. What do you think, man? Did he have to go?
Listen, Bielsa talk. Let's talk Bielsa ball now, people. Switching gears. Back to the Prem. Back to what matters. For me, what doesn't sit well with me is the fact that the pressure on Bielsa was third-party pressure. It wasn't Leeds fans.
Who was it?
The media.
I think Leeds fans slightly gave up.
Leeds fans gave up after Tottenham.
Yeah,
that's when I started seeing Leeds fans call TalkSport and several platforms and say, "Yeah, you know what? Fair enough." But Leeds fans, prior to the Liverpool loss, the 6-0, they weren't they were still saying give him to the end of the season, because at the end of the day, if we get rid of Bielsa, we're going to be in a worse position and we might even go down. We're less likely to win.
To be fair, I hear it in terms of the outside pressure where it felt since he came to the Premier League, at least, people have been calling, there's no way this is sustainable. He's got to go.
It's like why would you? Why it's very, very mean, because it's if I'm happy with something, it's like I like my wife, but you keep telling me she's dead. Like, I'm happy. I'm literally happy. And then she makes a mistake and it's like, yeah, we told you. I know her flaws. It's like Leeds fans literally, because I listen to when they call in. Leeds fans, because every time Leeds last season would lose a couple games, everybody say this man is so stubborn. And it's not fair. If the people that actually support love this man and they don't want him to go, why are you creating pressure? It's like, I feel like it was so artificial, the Bielsa pressure. If it comes from within and then the media amplify it, that's all well and good. But I felt like the media created it, then the Leeds fans said, you know what, these are all right. And then it had to happen. And the thing is, Bielsa, if you don't want him there, he will literally just quit. He'll leave at half time. I believe he can quit a match at half time. If everyone says they don't want him, he'll just leave.
He had to go. Like, after the Tottenham game, it was like, yeah, no, he has to go. But I can't lie, I'm a bit disappointed in the sense that we never got to see him this season with Cooper, Phillips, and Bamford for the majority of the season. We saw him last season. They came ninth. That was a good season. As much as everyone was saying this isn't sustainable, blah blah blah, it was a very good season. They finished ninth, and they played some of the best football in the league. This season, that span has been completely removed. Cooper centre back, Phillips midfielder, Bamford striker, and it plays on his part as well because he's a very stubborn manager, and we know that without those key players, you had to change. Like, you couldn't continue to play the same way with a lesser quality of players. He was always going to get exposed.
Equally, I'm not having this stubborn manager thing. We're in this country not used to seeing a small team be firm and be consistent in their stance when they're losing. It's very.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing.
You get your turn.
Continue.
We're not used to. And please listen. You're not used to seeing it. We're very used to seeing the whole two banks of four and play for the point. If a man is stuck in his ways, he's not going to change after 30 years. That's fine. So stop complaining that he's not changing his ways, because because the people that he's doing it for are not complaining. Until Leeds fans were complaining, then why are we getting on to them? But yeah, go on.
I understand in terms of him not changing his ways, because I was a very, very big advocate of that in his first season, where he has a certain way of playing. Is very new to the Premier League. Is very new. Like, a lot of Premier League watchers haven't really seen what Bielsa asked of a team, and it worked last season because he had his squad and the quality was there. It changed this season where he's had so many injuries to contend with, so many key players out. Like, logically, the type of football that Leeds play, where is high intensity, man for man pressing, you're not going to be able to sustain that with a lesser quality of play. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So logically, he needed to change something, but he's never been the type of manager to go away from what he thinks is correct. He's very strong. Like, remember Ole in his final days when he went to 3 at the back because he was terrified for his life and he was hoping for a result from somewhere, and he changed his 4-2-3-1 to a 3 at the back.
It's very easy, Banks, to back something when it works. You know, you started by saying you backed this when it was in the season when they came ninth. It's very easy to back something when it works. Nobody needs you to back something when it works. When it doesn't work, it's how you stick. It's sticking or twisting, and Leeds stuck with their manager in it. But what upsets me is the fact that everybody's trying to make them twist. Secondly, everyone's saying Bielsa's stubborn. Bielsa's very stubborn in his ways. It's easy to call man stubborn when it's not working. In the first season when Pep came to the Prem, they said this man is stubborn. This is the Premier League. He has to change the way in which he plays. Now, Pep didn't change the way in which he plays. He just changed the personnel, and he's a genius. So in the same breath, Pep is stubborn, but because Pep wins, so the issue is not him being stubborn. I don't think the issue is him being, or his philosophy doesn't work. I just feel like, because because it was lauded like when it worked. So they're saying because he doesn't have the personnel, change it. I don't think he needs to change because it still wants him.
No, I disagree. It needed like you've got guys like Forshaw and Ailing and like clearly lesser quality players that just couldn't keep up with what Bielsa was asking anymore. And then it gets to a point where are you going to stick with this, which is clearly to the detriment of the players, or do you twist and do you try and bring something in to steady the ship? That's the predicament he was in.
He was working wonders with his even first 11. He was working wonders with Cooper, with Calvin Phillips, with Patrick Bamford. Don't get it twisted. Patrick Bamford was not rated before Leeds.
He wasn't.
So he was working one. Calvin Phillips wasn't. He made him big time.
Yeah, 100%.
Cooper, he's made him a Premier League capable defender. Like people say, he's Premier League level now. Like he can stay in the Prem comfortably. So he's made these people that Dallas, Harrison, he's made them like.
And he hasn't had these troops with him. He hasn't so now he's relying on.
My point being, if he's created that with people you didn't know before, why can't he create that with your second string of players?
Because this didn't start. This didn't just start in the Premier League. He's been there 2 seasons in the Championship as well. You can't like these are. That's why I say there is troops. They've been with him. Like they know what they're asking. And this season, that's kind of just been decimated by injuries and whatnot. So now he's genuinely asking a lesser caliber of player to do exactly the same thing, which is already difficult enough, but he had players that he could trust to do that. Now he's asking players that he doesn't really trust to do exactly the same thing, and it's not working, clearly. That's where it comes. That's where the idea of sticking or twisting comes. Do you stick with it when it's clearly not working with these players, or do you twist and you try to go for something conservative? He stuck to his to what he thought was correct, and it cost him his job. But again, I wouldn't have asked him to switch. Like I wouldn't have, because he's already come all this way doing what he knows is correct. So if he decided to switch in the last minute, it would have kind of just been, now you're just clawing until the end.
Okay, cool. Best of luck to Bielsa. I don't think we're going to see him in the Prem again. But yeah, okay. Wait,
1 minute. One quick. Bielsa will get his flowers for bringing Leeds back to the Premier League after 16 years. Bona fide legend at Leeds. Bona fide legend.
Yeah, a lot. They've had a lot of tries. They've had a lot of big managers there. Pearson, I remember Pearson being there. Gary Monk going there. They've had several what we call big championship managers go there and try to get this ship going. And Bielsa was the first. And Bielsa didn't just do it the traditional English way. Got them with a serious identity. Now I'm sure they're gonna miss him as soon. The next person they get, I don't know who they can get, but they're gonna miss him. Would you get Nuno?
No.
Cool. All right. So let's just talk about. So City scraped it. The champions scraped it, but I just want to talk about one specific incident. As an Arsenal fan, we feel like we don't get our decisions right, but the pendulum swing the other way. Do you feel like several decisions favor Manchester City? Because I'm sure everyone's seen Rodri's handball that wasn't given as a penalty. What do you think? Thanks.
Everyone get out your violins. Always me. City always get the decisions. My club never. You guys pack it in, man. Pack it in. How long do we have to say these referees are rubbish before you realize it's not only your team that's being affected? Let's pack it in. Put the violins away. We're not asking for orchestra. Let's pack it in.
Fair enough.
Stop crying. It's not only your team that's getting bumped. It's not only you. Yes, City got away with one. Liverpool got away with one today. They should have been down to 10 men. When are we going to realize that it's not just your team that's being bumped? Please. Pack in the violins directly at Arsenal fans. Please, for the love of God, pack it in. Pack it in.
All right.
We've heard you've been bumped. We've heard. We're sorry. You want me to say, I'm sorry? Or do you want me to shout, I'm sorry? Which one do you want? We're sorry. You've been bumped. It's all right. Happened.
All right. Okay. We've heard you. Sorry. No problem. Let's quickly go to OT.
Oh, man. OT. To tell you why I like this game. So tell you why I like this game.
Watford. No.
So they were like, no, multiple chances. Should have packed him. Should have been 3-0 easy. It made me realize United haven't drunk their medicine yet. Ole came in and he brought a lot of shit with him, but he tried to gloss it over. He tried to put some sparkles on this shit. And we were a sick team, but he covered it down. He tried to cover it. And we thought we could go straight to Ralph with these same group of players. The same group of players that we chastised Ole for putting together. And we thought, yeah, Ralph is going to do the mad thing with them. We ain't drunk our medicine yet. It needs to get worse before it gets better. We need to taste the medicine. We've tried our best to hide away from the medicine. We need to taste the medicine. Ralph went out there and coached the calmest 3-0, 3 o'clock. It wasn't even on TV. 3 p.m. kickoff. Score 3 goals, get off the pitch, go home to your wife and kids. Ralph coached the calmest 3-0. Calmest. And these players let him down. And at this point, it just made me happy because I realized that we're not getting Champions League no more. I've accepted that. I've come to terms with it. Fair enough. Come to terms with it. When we don't get Champions League this season, it's going to now be on the players. And some of these players can't be part of what's happening next season. Some of these players cannot be. Huh? Who? Tune into United We Ball for part 2 and you're going to find out. No, but on the real note, some of these players, we just can't move forward with them. We're not, like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it's good. And it's good that these lot keep showing themselves up. Right. It's good that they keep showing themselves up because it makes it easier for the next manager that comes in to say, yep, this, and this, I'm not working with that. I can't work with that. I don't need to work with that. I don't need that. Next manager that comes in, it makes it a lot more easier. So you don't keep fluffing your lines. You don't keep making yourself look silly. It's your own. Man said, keep it down.
Man said, keep. All right, you know what? Cool. So it was a draw, goalless draw, and Watford versus Manchester United. But lastly, I'm going to give Newcastle their flowers. 2-0 away at the Brentford Community Centre.
Not calling it a community centre. Big man thing is a community stadium. It's not calling it it's not somewhere kids go to hang out after school. It's a community stadium.
Brentford Community Centre. And firstly, Sony Ericsson getting his first game.
Good moment.
Ericsson getting his first game. Put it up. Yeah, word. Come on, man. Shout out Ericsson. But yeah, Newcastle, big shout out to you. I think that's 4 wins in 5. 4 wins in 5, and then one was a draw. So you're unbeaten in 5, actually. Say it like that. But
that's a team that wants to stay. That's a team that wants to stay.
That's a team that wants a slugfest. And to be fair, I really wanted you to go down. So I'm going to eat my words. You were vocal when you wanted them to get relegated. So you have to be vocal now that they've done well. Right. Same thing with Burnley as well. But Newcastle, you're in the clear. Newcastle, I really wanted you to go down, and you live another day.
Everton, Leeds, looking over their shoulders. Mr. Austin said Newcastle for top 7 next year.
Mr. Austin, come back next week, man. Come back next week. Comments like that. Put in the same day.
What you said? Is that us?
That's us for this week, man. There's been it's mad how Arsenal, they just didn't let us play this weekend. It's just for like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you lot's fixtures are gonna be stacking up towards the end of the season.
You think we ain't got games in hand? They just said, nah, don't play. We could have got one of those games. We could have got one of them off. We could have got one of the games in hand off. But fair enough. That's fine. I don't know how they sorted out the fixture list. But guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're new, smash the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned into what we've got planned this week. We've got some more Get Well Soon Arsenal and United We Ball. Those are special shows dedicated to Arsenal and United. Therapy sessions for both clubs as well. Kind of both in the gulag, even though Arsenal's getting on the ascendancy. But yes, I've been your host today, Oluwasemilore Lavish Banks, Kante's cousin, whichever one you want to call it. And I've got my lovely, faithful co-host, Banks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying today's final. And make sure you stay tuned. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Stay blessed. Peace.
You are now listening to The Final Third.
I think Pepe's so coachable.
Wow, you should be in,
just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season.